Hi, I'm Lucy Del Priore, Director of School and Library Marketing at Macmillan Children's, and along with the rest of my fabulous school and library team, we're here to talk about some of our favorite books coming up this spring. The first book up in Picture Books is All the Way to Havana, written by Margarita Engel and illustrated by Mike Carrata. This is a simple, sweet story about a boy and his parents who take the old family car to Havana to visit their newest family member. For award-winning Cuban-American author Margarita, this poetic story is also personal, as it reflects her admiration for the ingenuity and hopefulness of the people of Cuba, of family loyalty, and of the importance of their cars humming along the Cuban roads. Now, this fantastic Cuban slice-of-life story is accompanied by beautiful illustrations by Mike Carrata, who you might remember from our Little Elliot books. For this book, Mike has done a beautiful job with these vintage cars, as you'll see from these end papers, and also of the many street scenes of Cuba. And for this visit, actually, Mike was actually taken around Cuba by Margarita's own cousins. So this is truly a unique team effort. The book includes back notes written by both Margarita and Mike about their research and gives a brief history about the importance of cars in Cuba. With the recent surge of interest in Cuba, I think this is a perfect everyday family life story about Cuba and about their need and respect for their vintage cars.
Hi, I'm Katie Halata, the Associate Director of School and Library Marketing at Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. We're here today to tell you about our Spring 2017 titles, including this picture book, Blue Ethel, by Jennifer Reinhardt. As you can see here from the cover, Ethel is a spunky, sassy, and confident cat. And like many cats, she is very set in her ways and likes things to be just so. Also, like other cats, she has a daily routine that she loves to follow. She gets up in the morning, she checks out her surroundings, she monitors the weather, and her favorite thing to do before taking her midday nap is to go outside, roll around in the sidewalk in her favorite spot, and come inside. That is Ethel's life. Day in and day out, she does the same things, until one day, everything changes, and she becomes Blue Ethel. Thanks to some neighborhood kids and some sidewalk chalk, when Ethel goes out to her favorite spot on the sidewalk and rolls around, she's no longer the black and white cat that she's always been. She's blue. She doesn't recognize herself and she doesn't like it. It makes her feel both blue on the inside and blue on the outside. Feeling sad, Ethel returns to her home, unsure of what to do next. The next morning when she looks outside the window, she sees Fluffy, a neighborhood cat who should be white, but today is bright pink. He's rolled around in the same patch of sidewalk Ethel has, but he's having the time of his life. It's through Fluffy that Ethel realizes that being different and trying new things is not only colorful, but also wonderful as well.
Hello, my name is Summer Ogata, and I'm the Associate Marketing Manager of School and Library Marketing. My picture book pick is Doris the Bookasaurus, about a dinosaur who loves to read. This is Doris, and she loves reading more than anything else in the world. However, her two brothers are less than impressed with Doris's reading habits. All they want to do is play dino tag and play with Stego blocks, and Doris would rather read, as you can see in this spread right here. Another thing that's interesting about Doris is that she doesn't always just read to herself. She likes to read aloud. So here she is reading and telling jokes to all of her stuffed animals. She also likes to read facts aloud that she reads out of books, and her brothers find this very annoying until she starts to read them a pirate story with sharks, and they realize that with a little imagination, sometimes books and their sister can be a lot of fun. One of the things I like most about this book is that it portrays reading as not something that's quiet and solitary, but something that is really fun, rambunctious, and that you can do with your friends or your siblings.
Hi, my name is Melissa Croce. I'm the marketing assistant for the School and Library Department at Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. This is Hello, Goodbye, Dog by Maria Jean Ferrari and Patrice Barton. It's about Zara and her dog, Moose. Moose's favorite word is hello because it means that he and Zara can go on adventures together. His least favorite word is goodbye because it means that he has to stay behind. When Zara goes to school and says goodbye, Moose, he decides that he can't accept this, and time again, he always finds his way to Zara while she's at school. Zara doesn't like saying goodbye either, and her parents and her teachers are tired of chasing after this dog. So Moose becomes a therapy dog, so he and Zara never have to say goodbye again. This is a great heartwarming book about the bond between a dog and his child, and it's a great introductory book to young readers who don't know a lot about therapy dogs and the people who use them. There's also an author's note in the back so that you can learn more about therapy dogs for people with physical limitations like Zara, or even how to use them in schools and libraries to help kids read.
For middle grade, I'd like to talk about I Love You, Michael Collins, written by Lauren Baratz-Legstad. It's 1969, and the country is waiting to watch man walk on the moon. 10-year-old Mamie's class is assigned to write to the astronauts. It turns out she's the only one that writes to Michael Collins, the astronaut that won't be able to walk on the moon because he has to stay behind with the ship. Well, it turns out that Mamie has a lot in common with Michael. At her own house, one by one, each family member ends up leaving the house to pursue their own dreams. So Mamie is on her own, hoping and waiting for everyone to soon return to their own home ship. With her letter writing and her best friend, Buster, Mamie finds a temporary solution to deal with her sense of abandonment. I just love how determined Mamie is to remain independent, even though she's scared. With the letter writing format, this leads to relatively short chapters, which is great for reluctant readers. It's also great because kids will be learning about some of the details behind the actual moon landing itself. And you yourself may be finding yourself craving a glass of Tang after you read this.
The Unbreakable Code by Jennifer Bertman. This is the second book in the Book Scavenger series. Book 1, which is now out in paperback, came out in spring of 2015 and introduced us to Emily and James, two code-cracking, mystery-loving, book-reading kids. They are also both obsessed with the online game, The Book Scavenger. On bookscavenger.com, books are hidden throughout cities and throughout the country, and users must log in, solve mysteries, riddles, and puzzles to reveal clues about where to find the books in real life. In Book 1, Emily and James cracked Garrison Griswold's Edgar Allan Poe-themed mystery and also brought to justice the men that attacked him at the beginning of the book trying to steal his clues. In Book 2, The Unbreakable Code, there's a series of fires being set throughout San Francisco, and Emily and James believe they're tied to messages and being left in Mark Twain titles on bookscavenger.com. Together, the two decide they're going to decipher the messages, find out who's behind this, and try and stop the fires. Along the way, they also uncover some information about a notorious puzzle called the Unbreakable Code. These two books are great for readers of Mr. Lemoncello's libraries, readers who love books about books, and also kids who just love pacey, page-turning mysteries.
My middle grade pick is Real Friends, a graphic novel written by Shannon Hale with art by Lewin Pham. We are so excited to be able to be publishing with First Second, Shannon Hale's first foray into graphic novels, and even more thrilled that Lewin Pham was able to do the art. Real Friends is the story of Shannon Hale's childhood from kindergarten into 5th grade, and it goes through the trials and tribulations of what it's like to navigate different friendships and how hard it is sometimes when you feel excluded from a group and then suddenly included, only to be excluded again. I have the advanced reader edition here, but the final book will be in full color. As you can see here, beautiful art by Lewin Pham, and she really brings Shannon Hale's text to life, especially in my favorite spreads here, where you can see that Shannon feels like her older sister is like a wild bear in the house, and as you can see, Lewin has drawn her as a bear. So you really can kind of get that feeling of anxiety that Shannon feels living with her. I love this book and hope it can find the right readers. I know that I would have loved this book when I was a young child, especially knowing that friendships can be stressful and they aren't always easy, and that's what Shannon shows in this book.
This is Fakespeare, Starcrossed and Romeo and Juliet by Emmy Castle and Daniel Yonawine. This book follows two kids who accidentally get sucked into, well, not exactly Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, but a fake version of it, in which the Montagues and Capulets are battling over who has the best pizza in Verona. Becca and her stepbrother Sam can only get out of the book and get home if they help complete the story. With the help of their dog Rufus and a trusty, omniscient narrator, they manage to stumble through this much less violent, although a lot more fun, version of Shakespeare's classic tale. This book is also publishing simultaneously with another book in the series, Fakespeare, Something Stinks in Hamlet, which follows Becca's friends Kyle and Haley as they make their way through Shakespeare's Hamlet. Although this book doesn't follow Shakespeare's original story to the letter, it sets up the basics, and it's a lot more accessible for kids.
For YA, I want to talk about Saint Death by Marcus Sedgwick. Hopefully Marcus's name is familiar to you, as he has won the most ALA Prince Awards and honors to date, which is 3, by the way. With Saint Death, Marcus focuses on the violent and grim world of human and drug trafficking along the U.S.-Mexican border. Arturo lives in a shack near the border when his best friend Faustino, who's now part of a gang, shows up at his door needing $5,000. It literally becomes a life or death situation for them both. Their only hope is for Arturo to win, and to win big at the card game Calavera. Marcus is a master storyteller, and this story is intense. At the card-playing scene, I just was so anxious about what would happen with Arturo. Would he be able to win back his friend's life? Would he be killed on the spot? Or would he walk away from the challenge and from his best friend? This is, of course, for any Marcus fan, but it's also for any teen looking for a high-adrenaline contemporary story about power, friendship, the haves and the have-nots, and the choices people make. Truly a memorable read.
The Wood by Chelsea Bobolski. The Parrish family has been guardians of the woods for centuries. It is their responsibility to protect the wood itself, to protect the travelers that come into the wood through thresholds of time, and also protect everyday people like you and I from entering the wood at night when the woods and the forest become something more sinister and dangerous than it is during the day. Winter has always known that this is her destiny to take over the guardianship. Her father was the guardian before her grandfather before him, but that destiny comes calling for her a little bit earlier than expected when one day her father disappears during a routine patrol. It's in this grief that she meets Henry, a traveler from 18th century England, who repeatedly enters the woods and tries to come into her time. Even though Winter has sent him back time and time again, he keeps coming. And one day he tells her that his parents have disappeared and that he thinks that it is associated with the disappearance of her father. So despite everything that she's been taught and everything that she has promised in protecting the wood, she lets him into her time, and together they investigate what truly happened to both their parents. This is an eerie and thrilling debut. It's bone-chilling and reminds me of a Cassandra Clare book mixed with a little bit of a Harry Potter and a little bit of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think that this book will appeal to a wide variety of YA readers.
The premise of The Love Interest is that there is a secret government agency that deals in secrets. It tries to get close to government leaders and other influential people and know their secrets, and then sells them to the highest bidder. In order to get these secrets, they have a secluded compound where they create love interests, perfectly breeded teenagers who they send out into the world to meet and fall in love with these marks, so then we can have access to their secrets forever. This story is about two love interests, Caden and Dylan, who are sent in to a mark, Juliet, and it is the story of the three of them and how it is very difficult to have a real relationship when no one is telling the truth and they are all lying to each other, especially when Caden and Dylan start falling for each other instead of Juliet. This is a very fast-paced, adventurous story, and what I especially liked about it is that it reads almost like a YA trilogy. It has that element of the characters realizing that maybe the world that they're living in isn't exactly how it should be. It has the element of having a huge setback and then finally a rebellion, but it all happens in one book. This is a standalone, so you don't have to keep waiting until the next book and the next book. You get to experience it all in one night if you'd like. This is a fun one, and I hope you all enjoy it.
I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Marie Gu is about high school senior Desi Lee. Desi Lee is a girl with a plan, or about a million plans, for how to be the best at everything she does. However, the smart and ambitious Desi Lee just can't get it together when it comes to boys she likes. She embarrasses herself every time. So the solution? Come up with a plan, of course. And there's nothing better, with a better blueprint, than watching Korean soap operas or K-dramas. After obsessively watching them with her father, Desi's armed with the K-drama steps to True Love list, which she'll use on moody, artistic new guy, Luca. A lot of hilarious mishaps ensue, and along the way, Desi learns, of course, that there are no foolproof plans when it comes to falling in love. This is a heartwarming story with well-rounded characters, and with a Korean-American protagonist written by a Korean-American author, it's a perfect addition to the We Need Diverse Books movement.
And those are just some of the highlights from our spring list. We hope you'll go to mackids.com to find out all about the rest of our spring titles. Thanks for listening.